Today's November 13th, 2019, and I am about to embark on a brand new adventure. I'm leaving my wonderful home, and we're going to Illinois whitetail deer hunting. Never done it before. This ought to be a treat. After a quick stop at Cabela's in St. Louis to see what a whitetail looked like, we were off. Over the river, the Mississippi River, and to the lodge where we met
Marty Eilerman, School of Hard Knocks, 1976. I own all this place, have been outfitting for years, and decided to rent it out to Roger and Jay. And that's how you boys all get to come here now. They had the contacts, I didn't, and I was getting old and tired of guiding. But it's a good farm to hunt.
Mary Eilerman, Batchtown, Illinois.
Kyle Eilerman, Calvin High School, class of 03.
After seeing some of the bucks that have been shot on this farm, we were all kinds of excited to get out and go hunting. And here's your lineup. Jeremy Higley, David Burnett, Roger Nix, and big shot Rob Summers. Okay, day one. Here it is. About 1:30 in the afternoon. We're walking into the tree stand. This whitetail hunting is way different than anything I've ever done before. I'm bundled up like an Eskimo, and hopefully this ought to be good. So all we heard all the way out here is Roger saying, you can't shoot a little one. It has to be at least 150 inches. I don't know what a 150-inch whitetail deer looks like. So when this boy came in, I didn't know what to do. I just had this buck walk 15 yards from my tree stand. Couldn't decide if he was big enough. Then when I finally decided I'm going to shoot it, I couldn't get it turned around. And he took off. Hopefully I get another chance. Some turkeys came in to finish off the night, but when I got back to the lodge and showed everybody my video, all I could hear was, "Why didn't you shoot it?"
Day two, a lot more action today. Only seen one shooter, but it came in nice and close. Squirrel, skunks, that's about it.
Day two, morning was slow at the spring hollow tree stand. I didn't see anything. Went to the Tarzan stand tonight. Saw a nice 11 point, still young buck. A small 6 point and a small 8 point and a few does. So all in all, day two was pretty good for me.
Day two for me. It was a good morning. I was on Brad's stand. Let's see, the morning started off pretty good. Had a 8 point come chasing a doe in right under me, so that was fun. Got a good look at him. He was tempted me, but decided to hold off. Thanks to Tony holding off the night before, so it inspired me to hang in there. You shoot the small ones, you can't shoot the big ones, so I figured I better hold off. Then I had, I guess, I saw 4 bucks this morning total, so. But tonight I was back on Sean's stand where I sat last night and had the same buck come behind me again tonight. And that was about it. So, another good day.
What you met this one back here?
Day 2, I took off and went down to the Greg Rose stand. Sat there all morning. There was nothing down there. I decided I'd try that little Primos camp call, and I called on that a few times and waited a few minutes and called on it again, and then all of a sudden I heard some crashing coming from the bottom, and right from the bottom here came this buck. Came right to me within about 25 yards. He wasn't a shooter. He was a 9-point, but he was not a shooter. Tonight, I went up to the far west stand, and immediately, 3 o'clock, does started coming out from below. They started coming out from up top. They started coming up from far across the field. I had 12 animals in there. One was a little button buck for sure, and one of them was a spike. And that spike was running around trying to get with the does. The does were smacking him around. They wanted nothing to do with him. I didn't get out of that stand until after 5:30. I thought for sure between 3 and 5:30 some big buck had come in, and nothing happened. Just those 12 does or 10 does and those 2 little bucks, they just milled around there forever, and not one buck came in. That's about it.
Day 3 starts off, I think it's 27 degrees this morning. I'm gonna walk over here to, I think they call it Bill's stand. But one thing that I found that's different between hunting in Illinois and hunting in Utah. When you go hunting in Utah, you have to camp out up on the mountain to get right in tight at daylight. For us in Illinois, you're camping in tight too, but you're camping like where you're hunting. That's the lodge. I'm just walking out the back door.
I had a few bucks pop out where I could see them, but this is the one I wish would have came close enough to get a good look at him.
I'm really cold. I have to explain a few things here. First of all, Roger hooked us up with this incredible whitetail hunt in Illinois. So we flew back here to come whitetail deer hunting. I've never hunted whitetails before. Don't know anything about them. But I'm telling you, I'm not a patient person. And for me to sit in a tree stand and freeze my butt off, it's not as fun as you'd think it is.
We're all at the lodge, getting ready for breakfast, and Robbie calls and said he got one. So we're all jumping in the truck, racing over to see what Robbie got. Big shot Rob comes through again.
Got us some meat for tonight, guys. We're not going hungry.
When Dave and Roger came out in October to put up all the tree stands, they had to name each one of them. And this one is called the Tarzan stand, based upon all the vines around the stand. So the first thing that I do when I get to a new tree stand is get out the rangefinder and mark certain points out in front of me so I know the yardage to that point before the deer come. It just so happens that tonight was the night. And as I was sitting here watching this hill, a nice buck came right down past the tire, right to my 50-yard mark. In the West we call this a tower, but in the Midwest it is called a tire. And it came to my 50-yard mark. I pulled back and let it fly, and I drilled it, and then the deer took off with that arrow hanging out of it over that hill. I went back to the lodge and waited for everyone else to show up. Then we went out in the dark and tracked it to the neighbor's fence. Now we have to get permission to keep tracking.
Day 4, went to church this morning, found a big buck on the side of the road and got my picture taken. Might probably be the only one I put my hands on, so figured I better take the opportunity. Tonight I went down to Brad's stand and got the skunk. Didn't even see a deer tonight. Day 4, went to church, met John. Went and sat, P5, didn't see a thing.
Day 4. Started off with a little religion. It was good. Came back, walked the woods, hoping to find Tony's buck.
7 of us tracked that deer for about 3 hours. It ended up in the corner of the neighbor's property and stopped bleeding, and we could not find it.
We realized we needed to shoot better.
That's what you hide.
And tonight I went and sat the top fence line and knocked out some does. Oh, and I did see a one-sided buck, so that was cool. That was it. So today is day number who knows, who cares at this point. We're shooting anything that moves tomorrow.
Oh, and I didn't sleep last night. Found out I was a grandpa.
Yeah.
I slept most of the day anyways. Didn't see much. Monday, day 5. I tried the corn stand again this morning. Saw one doe going in. That was it. Tonight, the far west stand. Saw 2 little small button bucks and a doe and a fawn come in right at dark. And that was my day. Pretty slow day today.
After you sit in a tree stand for a few hours, you start getting bored, especially if all you see is squirrels. And then you start to wonder, I wonder what that sucker tastes like. Why don't you come a little closer?
So, 3 bucks today. No shooting.
Day 5, we decided we were going to put together a plan to go after that big buck up on top. And we put a new stand up there that Higley really wanted to sit in. Rob took the far west. I took the corner stand. So if they came into that section again, there would be a triangle of bows and arrows ready to shoot that sucker. So the plan worked for all of us if the monster bucks would have come in, but they didn't.
Okay, I'm going to give you the panoramic view of the place. We're hunting on 580 acres in Illinois. Dave's going over there tonight in the far field. Right down here in the bottom is where I've been sitting. Over here, over there I think is the clubhouse or the lodge with the Mississippi River in the background. Jeremy and Robbie are over here tonight. And then it's just rolling hills. And then Roger's back over in this far corner of the field.
Day 6, I started out in Brad's stand again this morning. Nothing there. It's an awesome stand. It should be holding a big buck, but I can't find one there. And then tonight I went to P5 and had 5 does feed out a little below me, probably around 100 yards, but no bucks. That was day 6.
All right, day 6 for me. I found myself in Dead Oak Ridge. It's pretty calm till I heard a whack. And I honestly thought that Roger had fallen out of his tree stand because he's just right behind me. So I text and I said, Roger, did you hear that? Thinking, okay, if he responds, I don't need to panic. It actually took him a few minutes before he responded. What that ended up being was the sound of his arrow hitting the deer that he shot. The doe that he shot. Anyway, so that was my morning hunt. And then tonight we tried to ambush him up top again and just didn't work out. Some does came out. That was it. Day 6 is in the bag.
So I go to Tarzan and barely sit down and 2 dogs come through. I get the dogs gone, and sit there and I hear a motor getting closer and closer and closer, and here comes a side-by-side right through the field. Okay, great. Another 20 minutes, here he comes back through the field. He gets out and starts surveying the power lines. So then he leaves finally, and 20 minutes later, here come 2 more dogs back through the field. So I thought, well, sweet, at least I'm seeing stuff. I see what Tony's talking about with the Tarzan stand. Anyways, in the end, I saw 8-pointer over by Bill's stand and a few doe over there. Other than that,
I feel really bad because if things don't change, my poor family's gonna starve to death this winter.
day 7, I don't even remember.
He didn't know what day it was, but he sure loved having brownies and ice cream every night.
Tarzan. I sat out Tarzan, and again, it was just horrible wind tonight. That was it. 6 does and a spike, and that's all I saw tonight.
And on the 7th day, a day of rest, me and Tony decided to just hunt behind the lodge in Tarzan and Bill. And as luck would have it, we did see a good buck, and it went on Tony's side. It was a good shooter buck. Got our heartbeat going pretty good. Saw a couple does. That was it for the morning hunt. And then tonight again, I just kept on thinking Brad's stand was the place, but it didn't happen. That was it for me today.
This morning I woke up, put on my Lucky Sawyer Brown shirt, and I knew it was going to happen today. Then the big buck came out and he got me all excited. Come past, turned and went straight up the hill, took a couple pictures, then I rattled and he came running down. I thought I had him and he didn't come to me. He just went to the thick stuff. Saw a couple of does, then took off early. I knew tonight was the night, so
Dave and I walked out at 11.
It is the bottom of the ninth. Bases are loaded. We gotta have a hit.
45 this morning. You're in the stand at 11. Sat there till 5:30. Didn't hear a thing, didn't see a thing. Phone died. Stared at the trees for 3 hours. Listened to the wind howl.
Did not see a thing.
This is Marty and Mary Eilerman, and Mary would like to have a few words to say to you.
Goodbye and have a safe trip.
And I say the same thing and hope to get to see us all back again.
Looking back, maybe I should have shot this deer, but it was 2 hours in on a 7-day hunt, and I sure didn't want it to end so fast. And of course, the big buck that I hit and never found still makes me sick. But the best part of the whole trip was being able to hang out with 4 of the coolest guys and have such a fun time with them. And a big congratulations to Josh and Sadie for welcoming Harvey into the world while we were gone.
Special thanks to the Eilermans, Roger Nix, Dave Burnett, Jeremy Higley, and the big shot Rob Summers. Illinois Whitetail Hunt 2019 is brought to you today by Delta Airlines, Chevrolet Like a Rock, Matthews Archery, Blue Bunny Ice Cream, Summit Tree Stands, Top of Utah Archery, thanks Lance, and Mountain Dew. Do the do.